The road into Marlowe's End had always been lonely. A single ribbon of cracked asphalt wound through flat, flooded marshland where half-dead trees leaned like old men into the mist. For Laura Penn, it felt like the world itself was trying to sink. Returning wasn't part of the plan. But grief makes orphans of our intentions. After her brother David's suicide the year before, London became unbearable, crowded with well-meaning silence, hollow condolences, and a flat she could no longer sleep in without hearing him pacing rooms that no longer existed. Her parents were gone. Her career was dissolving. All roads, inevitably, led her back to the empty house in Marlowe's End and the long, dark marsh where David had left his shoes beside the water's edge. His body was never found. He had left one message, sent at 11:59 p.m. the night he vanished. 16:10, midnight. Trust me. She hadn't. Not then. The house was filled with dust and ghosts. Laura took to driving at night, aimlessly circling the marsh roads like a planet caught in some doomed orbit. One night, beneath a moon smothered by cloud, her father's old Volvo radio crackled awake on its own. The dial shifted, shivering toward the forbidden frequency, 16:10 a.m. Through static, a song pushed its way into the world. Blue Moon by the Marcells, warped and slow, like it was clawing its way up from underwater. Then came the voice. This is the captain, calling out to whoever's still listening. It's been a long time. But tonight's special. Tonight's the night we bring them home. Tune in, if you dare. Laura pulled over, shaking. The captain was supposed to be an urban legend, a pirate DJ from the 70s who vanished mid-broadcast after claiming to have found a way through the static. Conspiracy theories, ghost stories, hoaxes. Nothing more. Except her brother had believed in it. Except, now she was hearing it too. The next day, Laura visited the old Marlowe's End radio tower. It was a corpse of a building, rusted, crumbling, half swallowed by reeds and creeping marsh water. Local kids dared each other to approach it, but no one stayed long. The padlock on the door hung broken. Inside, equipment blinked faintly. The transmitter, impossibly old, still thrummed with green light, alive when it should have been dead decades ago. The walls were lined with photographs pinned like insects, faces of the missing, faded headlines, coordinates scrawled in pen. In the center of them, freshly taped, was David's face. Beneath it, in transmission. Then came footsteps, and from the shadows stepped the captain. He looked wrong. Unaged, smiling a smile that never reached his eyes. His leather jacket hung stiff with mildew, his shadow bent the wrong way, curling along the ceiling like smoke. You finally tuned in, the captain explained. 16:10 a.m. wasn't a station. It was a breach. A liminal frequency, a wound in reality, thin enough for certain voices to slip through. He hadn't been transmitting music. He'd been transmitting people. Those who listened too long. They became part of the signal. Disembodied. Echoing forever in static, bound to the circuit boards and dead airwaves of places like this. David, too, had listened. David, too, had answered. But there was a loophole. A loophole always cost something. One final broadcast could pull a voice free. But the station demanded an exchange. One soul for another. One voice for silence. Laura stood before the ancient microphone, the green light pulsing beneath her trembling hand. The captain watched, patient, smoke leaking from the corners of his grin. She could walk away. Forget the signal. Let her brother's voice fade like all the others. Or she could speak. Invite him back. But the price would be her own name on the wall. Her own voice trapped forever in the hiss between frequencies. The old guilt roared inside her. She hadn't answered his call before. She wouldn't fail him again. Through tears, she leaned in and whispered, "David, come home. I'm listening." The static howled. The tower shuddered. Lights exploded like dying stars. For one terrible heartbeat, she heard her brother's laugh, younger, innocent, alive. "Laura, I'm here." Weeks later, searchers found Laura's Volvo abandoned by the marsh. Engine cold. Doors unlocked. The radio locked on 16:10 a.m. Through the hiss, a woman's voice loops endlessly. "Laura here. If you're listening, I made it. I'm not alone anymore. The captain was never found. The tower had collapsed inward, as if swallowed by the earth itself. To this day, on certain fog-choked nights, 1610 a.m. bleeds through again. A woman's voice humming, "Blue Moon." And if you listen long enough, you might hear someone softly calling your name from beneath the static.